And what's up? I don't know, I took a deep breath there. It's 11:30 p.m. now, May 19th. And this level took quite a while for me to spawn. It actually took a few hours of grinding. So now we're finally at Chapter 7. We're at the very end. Well, not yet, but we're close to the end for all these Blood Moon levels. So, I got input to level 100 in the process of grinding to get this level. So before we get into the main story, yes, again with the stories, I got like a handful of little mini topics I wanna talk about. But before that, take it away.
At long last, Zelda's true power had awakened. Even the Yiga clan would vehemently oppose vehemently. Finally, the people of Hyrule stood united.
Wait, did we see that?
Just as hope had begun to shine, Zelda received an urgent message. Remaining Hyrulean forces
I think they skipped the cutscene of Zelda giving her speech and Master Koga pleading for help. I think they skipped that cutscene. Or those cutscenes.
Oh! The fight isn't over.
Unless this is it.
We must hurry.
I'm sorry, Your Highness. But it's too far. Even if we left right away.
Blah, blah, blah. I just so happen to have good news to share. Go ahead and behold!
Yeah, I think they did, because the Yiga's standing with us right now.
Terminal over there? I used it to fiddle with the patrol unit, the one that's in the castle. And of course, I was successful. I managed to reactivate all of the towers. Impressive, right?
Anyone else think Purah kinda looks like Betty Boop?
Check it. Let's all hurry to the Sheikah Tower.
I know that's not something new,
Why there?
given her design in Breath of the Wild.
I also upgraded the teleportation functionality.
Just like that? Now that's a feat.
Well, to be fair, it's not all me. Thank the ancient tech built into our friend. Anyway, now we should be able to travel to any tower in Hyrule in a flash. Or to anywhere, really.
Saving people in a flash.
Let us go.
Great Plateau. Okay, so first thing I want to mention is, well, I passed. Remember when I said I would keep you guys updated? I think I said that. Well, I passed. I said I had a supplementary exam, so I had a redo exam because I came close to passing. And well, I'm happy to say that I passed. That means I've essentially graduated. I mean, not yet. I still have one more semester, and I still have a little bit of work to do. But no more studying, no more exams, no more none of that. At least for the time being, because I still have the, once I'm done the entire program itself, I still have a big overall test to do. It's like a government test, you know, to test my knowledge on the professional level. But for now, I'm basically done. So that's topic number 1. So number 2, earlier tonight, right before I started recording this, actually let me pull up the picture so I don't forget. Okay, so right before recording this tonight, I suddenly remembered a really old movie a long ass time ago that I watched. Wait, what? An old movie that I watched a long ass time ago. I couldn't remember the name, but I did remember it starred Lindsay Lohan, and she swapped bodies with her mother. I think it was her mother, may have been her stepmother. I don't remember. So I looked it up. I looked up on Google Lindsay Lohan movies, and one of the first ones that popped up was the one I'm thinking of, and the movie's called Freaky Friday. That movie came out in 2003, and I remember watching it on TV whenever it aired. I think that's how I remember watching it. My sister watched it too. If I remember correctly, they cracked a fortune cookie. They both read it at the same time, and somehow they swapped bodies. I don't know. It starred Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis. That's why I had to pull the picture up to remember her name. Man, I haven't seen that film in at least a decade. And as of recording this, it's soon about to become a decade, not a decade, it's about to become 2 decades old, because that film came out in 2003. What am I doing? I need to go to different locations. I'm just rambling. Zelda, you can go here, please. Wait, what? Oh no, I need to go to Impa. So yeah, it's just kind of funny to me how I randomly remember a film that I saw at least a decade ago and I haven't even thought about. You know, if I were to think about any Lindsay Lohan movie, I would think about either Mean Girls or Herbie. Okay, so the third topic I want to talk about. So my friend sent me this this meme a couple days ago, and I think let me once again I should pull it up. I have my phone right in front of me. All right, it's okay. 3 main causes of depression. Number 3, the death of a loved one, and I was like, okay, that applies to me. And then number 2, wait, where's my enemy? Where's my enemy at? Where am I? Wait, I'm Link. I need to be at least, there we go. I'm not paying attention to the level at all. I'm just trying to talk about these stories, these little topics. So, number 1, or the number 3 reason is loss of a loved one. And I'm like, okay, that applies to me. Reason number 2, isolation and lack of support. I'm like, that's me again. And then number 3. I need to remember what the meme said. Whoops. And then number 3, it's like realizing that your realizing that in order for you to be born, your ancestors had to survive plagues, wars, world hungers, etc., just for you to end the bloodline due to your incapability to pull bitches. And I'm like, wow, they just basically checked off all the boxes that apply to me. You may as well just add fat, short, and stupid. You may as well just, you know, go full circle. Just apply everything to that checklist anyways, because it all applies to me. I just thought that was funny. Obviously it's a joke, but unfortunately, like, all of those things apply to me. But let's not worry about that. Let's focus on playing some good games and telling some stories about my life that nobody cares about. So, alright, so the main story at hand, which is what the title says, my story about my experience in Chinese school. No, I'm not kidding. Back when I was... Okay, before I lay down the background knowledge, let me just mention this. For those who've never seen my face, because I've only showed my face with face cam a handful of times, I am Asian. I know I don't sound like it, but I am. I come from an Asian family, an Asian background, blah blah blah. But I in no way act Asian in the slightest. I use a damn fork to eat my rice. Alright, so having said that, so back in elementary school, every Saturday, I believe elementary school, from 1st grade to 7th grade, every single Saturday, my mom would drive me over to the high school that was right beside my elementary school, because the high school, first of all, it was the high school I went to. And second of all, before I went to that high school, when I was in elementary, the high school that was beside my elementary school, they had a Saturday school program that was like an international language program. And my mom signed me up for Chinese classes for 7 years. And I didn't learn shit.
What?
Even the game was like, wait, what? 7 years and you didn't learn anything? Damn right. I didn't learn not one thing in my 7 years of Chinese school. Not one thing. To this day, I don't know how to read Chinese. I don't know how to write Chinese. I could barely speak it. Hell, given my ability to hardly speak English, you can clearly tell if I ever spoke Chinese, it would sound pretty garbage. But yeah, every Saturday for 7 years, my mom would wake me up at like 8 in the morning because the classes, I believe, were only 3 hours a day. But it went from, I think, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And I hated every second of it. You know, because it was the weekend. It was Saturday. I want to sleep in on Saturday. I just spent 5 days going to regular school. Can't I get 2 days off of my weekend? And it's like, nope. You get 1 day off. And that 1 day off is for homework. If not for homework, then my other tutors. Because I also had tutors every weekend. Well, me and my sister. So yeah, for 7 years, I attended this Chinese school. These Chinese classes. I call it Chinese school, even though it was a Saturday program in the high school I went to, before I even went there for high school. And I tell you what, I hated it. Because if you couldn't tell, my primary language that I speak is English. I rarely ever use Chinese. I only mostly speak Chinese to my parents, because their primary language is Chinese, or, you know, whenever I'm at work and someone who speaks Chinese comes in. And when I mean Chinese, let me just clarify this. When I say Chinese, I mean, at this point, the inferior one. No offense to anyone who speaks this language. Hey, this is my background, okay? This is my actual background. There's nothing to be offended about. And when I say inferior, I mean Cantonese. Because I don't really know how to speak Cantonese. I only know enough to speak to my parents. So when I say Chinese, I don't mean Mandarin. I don't know anything in Mandarin. Not anything. So when I say Chinese, I mean Cantonese. So, yeah, I didn't learn anything in 7 years. I tell you what, I hated every single moment of it. Because I didn't like the language, despite it being, well, my family's background. I didn't understand it. And, you know, Chinese is not easy to learn, even from a young age. Wait, where am I going? The line was down there. You know, it's hard to learn an entire language the older you get, which is why it's easier to teach kids new languages when they're younger. Well, I guess I was a little too old to try to teach me my freaking family's language. Or that may have a... You know, where I grew up may have a factor in that. That's probably the biggest factor. Because I didn't grow up in Asia, I grew up in Canada. So yeah, I remember hating it. Because I didn't learn anything, I didn't like attending, I didn't understand anything. I had to wake up extra early on Saturdays for 7 years to go to something I did not like. Finally, a flurry rush on that attack. Now keep in mind, my sister also went to this. My sister did the exact same thing. And she's far more better than me. Far more better. She's far better at me than Chinese. Which, what a surprise. No surprise there. Because unlike me, she actually learned something. Now, like I said, I went to this from 1st grade to 7th grade. But I think technically they went all the way to like high school grade. So like I think they went all the way to grade 12. But I stopped at 7. I think my sister went up to... I don't remember if my sister went up to grade 12. But I do remember she spent longer there than I did. I stopped at 7 because after 7 years, my mom finally realized what a huge, colossal waste of time it was to bring me there, due to me learning absolutely nothing and not even having any sort of interest for it. And like I said, I remember hating it. I remember there was a handful of times where I would wake up extra early just so I could hide my mom's alarm clock so that she wouldn't wake up and attempt to wake me up to bring me there. I remember doing that. And then I also remember there were times like if my mom tried to wake me up, if I just lied there in bed refusing to get out, maybe eventually I would have just, you know, delayed it for so much it'd be too late for me to go. Like, I really did not want to go to this. Is that a bloopy there? Where's my bow? There it is. Did that hit? I think that hit. That cut down an entire tree! I hope the voice actor who did that moan is proud. Because, you know, the Nintendo, or rather Koei Tecmo, literally told the guy, alright, here's a microphone, just moan into it. Voice actor's like, excuse me? You want me to what? Yeah, just moan into the microphone. Like, how do you want me to moan? You want me to do it like a certain way? Nah, just moan. Just trust us. Just moan into the microphone, and we're gonna put it in the game. Okay, and the rest is history. Now, I did have a couple of friends from elementary school who were also there, and they did do better than me. To my memory, I had at least 3 friends who also attended that bullshit. Although one of them didn't like me. We're friends now. At least I like to think we are. But, you know, he didn't like me in the slightest back then. Which, to be fair, a lot of people right now in this modern day don't really like me. Yeah. There's a lot of reason why I'm going to hell. So yeah, I really can't believe I wasted 7 years taking classes, taking lessons, not only in a language I didn't care for, but also the fact that I showed no results. I mean, granted, that's probably my own fault because I had no interest in it. I didn't pay attention. I didn't learn anything. Then again, I don't understand like Chinese writing. I don't understand, well, what the teacher was saying. A lot of times my family will speak Chinese to me and I'm just like, what? What'd you just say? What's that in English? Like, I really don't understand the language, despite it literally being my own background. I kind of feel like one driving factor to why my mom sent me was so I wouldn't become such a disgrace to the family by not knowing the family language, which, granted, that's exactly how I turned out. I am an enormous disgrace to the family, and I know that. How do I get up this simple ledge? There we go. I'm not going to retell the story, but a couple years ago I got yelled at. You know, sometimes when my dad has things he doesn't like about me, he just like holds it in because he feels like it's not worth it just to call me out on something small. But eventually, whenever he does get so mad at me and yells at me for whatever reason, he just brings up everything he doesn't like that I do. And a couple years ago when he did yell at me for not cutting my hair or whatever, he brought that topic back up despite it having no relevance. He's like, I shit you not, he really yelled at me like this too. He's like, you use a fork to eat your food. We are Chinese. We do not use forks. And I'm just thinking, who the hell cares what utensil I choose to eat my food? I'm a huge disgrace, I know that. You know what's actually funny though? That would be a Nexus event right there. Sometimes I think, what are the what points in my life where if a simple decision was made differently, would I have turned out differently? Would I have turned out better? Because the way I see it, every decision that made me who I am right now were the worst possible decisions to be made. And there were, in my mind, there are two moments in my life. There were two major moments that could have caused a Nexus event where I changed drastically, where I would be unrecognizable to the person who I am now. And that would probably would have been for the better. Number one is my parents' decision for elementary school. See, when my sister went to kindergarten and elementary school, she went to the same school, the same school that we both went to for elementary school. They had kindergarten there, so that's what she did. She went to kindergarten there and for elementary school. But for me, my parents, because I'm a boy, they wanted better for me. So they sent me to a private school for kindergarten. Now that private school also had elementary and high school, I believe. But for some reason, they changed their mind. After kindergarten was done, they sent me to the same elementary school that my sister went to. So I went to a private school kindergarten, and then I went to a public school for elementary, and then I went to a public high school. So that, I think that's Nexus event number one. Had I simply stayed, had my parents made me stay in that private school for my entire life, from kindergarten to high school, I think I would have turned out actually smart. Unlike the bumbling doofus I am now, who can't even do simple math like 160 plus 16, and I said 172. I think that would be Nexus event number one. That would have changed who I would have turned out. And number two, and this one's the biggest one. This one would have changed me drastically. Like, I would just be two different people. Unrecognizable. Not even comparable. And that is, the moment I was born. Okay, I should probably once again lay down the background. When my sister was born, she was raised here in Canada. And then when I was born, my mom wanted to move the entire family back to Asia and raise the family there. But my dad, he convinced her, no, let's stay here in Canada. And the rest is history. The rest is I think that would have changed me. Not even would have. That definitely would have changed me. I like to believe that if that happened, I would have turned out exactly opposite of how I am right now. I feel like my parents in that other timeline in the multiverse would have been more strict with me. So, you know, more studying, less video games. So I would have turned out way smarter. I feel like my language would have been opposite. My Chinese would be excellent, would be superb, but my English would suck. I feel like I may have been taller. Because if I wasn't a fat, lazy gamer, I would have actually done some sports and exercise. So maybe I would have been taller. So that's how I feel like I would have turned out had my dad not been able to convince my mom to raise me in Canada and instead raised me in Asia. I would have been taller. I would have been smarter. My language would have been much different from how I speak now. Instead of good English and bad Chinese now, I would have had good Chinese and bad English. Hell, I may have been more fluent in more than 2 languages. Not like I'm fluent in Chinese now anyways. Let's say this, I would have been fluent in at least 2. How about that? Because maybe variant me actually enjoyed learning English, unlike this version of me who disliked learning Chinese. know what? I haven't used Zelda. Let's use Zelda. How did we get to this topic? But yeah, 7 years. 7 years spent learning a different language. You know, I should also mention too that back then I had almost no days off. I had the typical Monday to Friday school. Saturdays I would have Chinese school. And then Sunday I would have piano lessons. I mean, yes, piano lesson didn't take as long. I think that was like an hour or two, and then I would have the whole rest of the day off. And back then, I would have one tutor that would come in, or come... What the hell was that sound just now in the game? Back then, in elementary school, my sister and I would both need a tutor. So we both would have had a tutor come to the house one day on the weekend, maybe sometimes both days. So it would have been Saturday school and maybe the tutor that day. And then Sunday, I would have piano classes and no tutor that day. So I would have Sunday after piano class completely free. Or the opposite. Saturday, Chinese school, and then nothing for the rest of the day. And then Sunday, piano class, and then tutor. So I had like no days off back then. But yeah, 7 years of my life, every Saturday, going to a stinking Chinese school program. I remember back then too hating the high school because I went here for Saturday. And then I went to that high school for high school and I loved it. Ooh, did I get it? Did I get it? Wait, did I? Hold on. Yes! I did! Oh my god! Right at the end! We actually got one! We finished a level, and then the Blood Moon spawned exactly at the next one! Awesome! So I don't have to spawn. I don't have to grind for it to spawn. We only had 2 chances left. Hey, it'd be great if when I do this one next time, this one would spawn. I can't believe it. I can't believe we actually got that. Woo! Whoops. You know, since I'm closing out, I may as well mention too. Earlier tonight, it's 11:58 p.m. now. Earlier tonight, I had sushi for dinner, and I ate so much. I feel so bloated right now. I gotta go work this off on the treadmill. And you know what? That level was a lot shorter than I remember. I thought this level was a lot longer. Hold on a second. Before I end this, let me just go to gallery. Let me see. Was there a cutscene that they cut out there? Because I remember there was one. What the hell? There was one... There was one cutscene where I was anticipating to play again. What level was this? The Great Plateau. Yeah, I think it was this one. I just want to play this one real quick. If it'll load. Come on, how long does it take to load a cutscene? It's not even loading a level. Right, so we would have finished the whole level just now. And then it was right here where the king showed up. Remember back then when I thought the king rest in peace? When he got RIP'd? When I thought that? Yeah, that's why I thought... That's why I wanted to see this cutscene again. Because I thought the king was, you know... I thought he got whacked.
Father?
Look at how big he is compared to her.
But you're all right.
It is all thanks to this.
Yeah, remember this little doohickey that I didn't know what was?
This little thing saved me.
This thing looks like a coaster for a drink. Yeah, when Zelda first gave him that, I'm like, what the fuck is that? I didn't know what it was. And then if you guys remember here, for some miraculous reason, it just started to activate. He didn't know what this thing was, too. So he just had faith. Yeah, he just had faith to hold it up like that. And then it turned into a shield, and I'm like, oh, that's what that is. That makes sense. The power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
Your heart, your boundless compassion. With those precious gifts, you have saved my life. While I accused you of evading your duty.
You see, the king's not a bad guy.
Perhaps
He was hard on his daughter only because, you know, his entire kingdom was at stake.
That's not...
But if you read the king's journal, even he didn't like being so hard on her.
Father, you've always loved me. Everything you've done has always been for me. The burden, the heavy load you've shouldered all this time, from now on, please let me help you carry it.
Zelda, you are my pride. And indeed, the pride of all Hyrule. With your power, I believe you will seal away Calamity Ganon.
Ah, who knew the Yiga clan were such big softies?
Let us rally our forces for a final push.
Makes me feel sad whooping their asses in Breath of the Wild.
Hyrule Field. Alongside our princess, we will retake Hyrule Castle.
Yep, I just wanted to play that again and revisit it. Mostly to mention, like, remember when I thought the king got smoked? I don't know why I thought that. It was obvious that he survived. Because he was a playable character, and I knew that going into the game. Okay, now save, and now goodbye. Wait, I thought I hit stop. Now goodbye. Bye. Bye now. Bye-bye.